Good morning. Good morning, both. Good morning to you. Many leaves, of course, came down this weekend in the strong winds that some of us had. Today, well, the weather's a little bit quieter, drier and brighter, still blustery, mind you. And then we've got some more rain coming in from the west later, and that's courtesy of this clutch of weather fronts here. But one look at those isobars tells you it is going to be blustery. The wind's strongest across the far north of Scotland. Here we could have gusts 45, 50 miles an hour. So we're starting off with a lot of cloud. Now, there still are some dregs of yesterday's rain, but it's weakening all the time. So one or two showers, there'll be some sunshine, but through the afternoon, as the weather front approaches from the west, what you'll find is the cloud will build, and then we'll start to see some rain come in as well. Temperatures 9 in Lerwick to 13 in Plymouth and St Helier. This evening and overnight, we continue with that band of rain pushing northwards and eastwards. Still a fair bit of cloud around. And after a chilly start to the night, what you'll find is overnight temperatures will actually go up. So these are likely to be the lowest values we see as this rain moves across the far north of the country. Well, by the end of the night, we'll have temperatures closer to 11 or indeed 12. So tomorrow we still have our first front in the north, the second one coming in across the northwest. And still looking at those isobars, it tells you it's going to be a blustery. Some patchy light rain or drizzle, especially in the hills in the west. Here's the rain, and our top temperatures tomorrow, well, again, we're looking at quite healthy for the time of year, up to about 15 in Dan.
Thank you very much for that, Carol.
Morning, everybody. We've got a right mishmash of weather as we go through this week. It's going to be mild, then it's going to get very cold, then it's going to turn mild again. But today what we have is a drier day compared to yesterday for many. It's going to be brighter, but there's more rain coming our way before the end of the day. And that's courtesy of this area of low pressure with its attendant fronts. One look at those isobars, which are quite tightly packed, tells you it's going to be another blustery day, especially across the far north of Scotland, where we could have gusts up to about 50 miles an hour. Now, last night's rain is starting to peter out. There's quite a bit of cloud around. Cloud will thin a break. We'll see some sunshine too. But through the afternoon, we'll start to see the arrival of our first weather front, bringing in some rain. Ahead of it, there'll be some drizzle, particularly so on western hills. Temperatures ranging from 9 in the north to 13 in the south. Now, through this evening and overnight, that band of rain advances northwards and also eastwards. Again, quite a lot of drizzle around, quite a lot of cloud too. And after a cold start to the night, as the weather front comes through, temperatures will actually rise, especially in northern Scotland. So these are our overnight lows. Now, as we head on into tomorrow, we still have our first weather front moving north, lingering across the far north of Scotland. Second one's coming in, and we still have an array of isobars as well. So another blustery day, another wet one too, particularly across parts of Scotland. Some of that rain at times getting into Northern Ireland. And there'll be one or two showers and some drizzle on western-facing hills. But if you're in the shelter of the hills, for example, northeast Wales, northeast Scotland, the east of the Pennines, temperatures for you could potentially, in any sunshine, hit 17 degrees, very mild for the time of year. Now, through the course of Wednesday, we've got a weather front moving from the west towards the east, so we'll all see a spell of rain, still particularly wet in the northern and western Isles, where it could be raining for much of the day, and our temperatures 10 to 17 degrees. But behind the weather front, temperatures will start to dip a bit, and that's a hint of what's going to come. So on Wednesday into Thursday, we've got our low pressure drifting away, weather front coming in from the west, still blustery winds, but it is going to turn colder during the course of Thursday, noticeably so. You can see we've got more of a northerly component to the wind, pulling in that cold air. Compared to Wednesday, some parts of the country will be a good 8 to 10 degrees lower in terms of temperature. So for the next week ahead, what we're looking at, rain at times, often windy, turning mild, cold, and then mild again. It'll be milder on Friday. Lou and Dan.
Thank you very much.
Morning both, good morning to you too. Isn't it glorious, this picture from Pembrokeshire this morning? But don't be fooled, because there is rain on the way for you later on, courtesy of this area of low pressure and fronts. But you can also see from the isobars, it's another blustery day. The strongest winds will be across the far north of Scotland. Here we're looking at gusts up to about 50 miles an hour. And we're starting with quite a lot of cloud, some patchy rain. Through the morning, some of that cloud from the west, the cloud will build, and then eventually we'll see the rain, including into Pembrokeshire. Now, temperatures today ranging from about 9 in the north to 12 or 13 in the south. So a cool evening to start with in northeast Scotland, but as the cloud and the rain advance eastwards and northwards, you'll find the temperatures will actually go up, and some of this rain will be heavy and persistent. Come further south, a lot of cloud, some murkiness in the hills and coasts, especially so in the west, with some drizzle, but it's not going to be a cold night. Now tomorrow we still have this southwesterly brisk wind, still a fair bit of cloud around, still quite murky in some of the hills and the coasts, especially in the west, and still this heavy and persistent rain. We could have as much as 75 millimetres of rainfall from this, twice as much as that on some of the hills, and at times that rain will get in across Northern Ireland. But if you're in the shelter of the hills in northeast Wales, to the east of the Pennines, even northeast Scotland, temperatures tomorrow could get up to an unseasonably mild 17 degrees, but generally 10 to 15. Lou and Dan. Everybody, I'm keeping right out of that conversation. This week, the weather forecast is certainly very varied. It's going to be wet at times, windy at times, mild for most of the time, but on Thursday it is going to turn colder. There'll be a significant wind chill factor, and compared to Wednesday, some of us will have temperatures between 8 and 10 degrees lower. So if we take a look at that, the yellow and amber colours are with us today, showing it's mild. They're still with us tomorrow, mild. Wednesday, they're still with us, but the colder air is starting to come in from the west. Then on Thursday, it's right the way across us. Some of us seeing some wintry showers on the hills, but it's short-lived because on Friday, we're back into the milder conditions once again. This morning, we've got some brightness around, as you can see from this beautiful Weather Watchers picture of Maidstone in Kent. There is quite a bit of cloud first thing, and the overnight rain continuing to peter out. So we'll see increasing amounts of sunshine for a while, but as a set of weather fronts come in from the west through the course of the afternoon, the cloud will build, and you can see all this rain with temperatures today 9 to 13 degrees. A cool start. Cloud and rain continue to advance northwards and eastwards. The temperature will actually rise, and quite murky in the west as well. Still a brisk wind as we'll have today, and these are our overnight temperatures 9 to about 13 or 14 degrees. You'd expect them by day rather than by night at this time of year. Lou and Dan. Oh, we've got a bit of everything, Lou. Good morning, everyone. To start with, I'm showing this lovely Weather Watchers picture of Devizes in Wiltshire. You can see there's some cloud here. Some of us starting off on a cloudy note. Some of us have some sunshine, but there's rain on the cards, courtesy of this area of low pressure with its various weather fronts. Another glance at those isobars, which are close together, will tell you it's going to be a blustery day. The strongest winds across the far north of Scotland, where we could have gusts up to 50 miles an hour. And although we're starting with a fair bit of cloud, we'll see some sunshine, some patchy rain, but that will be usurped by this heavier rain coming our way through the course of the afternoon, again with cloud building ahead of it as it advances northwards and eastwards. Temperatures today 9 to about 13 degrees. It will be chilly in the evening across northeast Scotland, but as the cloud builds and the rain comes in, temperatures will actually rise. And like today, it's going to be a blustery night, with quite a lot of murk, particularly in western-facing coasts and hills. These are our overnight temperatures, more reminiscent of what we would expect by day at this time of year as our maximum temperatures, not our minimum. So we head on through the course of tomorrow. We've got our weather front ensconced in the north, another one coming in across the northwest, and still all those isobars telling you it's going to be blustery, but the wind is coming from a mild direction, namely from the southwest. So a lot of cloud, still some drizzle and murk on west-facing coasts and hills. There'll be some brightness coming through, but there'll be some heavy and persistent rain across northwest Scotland, at times getting into Northern Ireland. But in northwest Scotland, we could have as much as 75 millimetres of rainfall, twice that on the hills. On Wednesday, a band of rain will move from west to east across all of us, and still blustery, but we start to see a subtle change in the wind direction. So we've got southwesterlies in the south, helping maintain the temperature level at 17, but we start to see more of a northwesterly in the north, and it is going to cool down. So we've got the cold front sinking south during the course of Wednesday into Thursday. Look at the isobars. There's going to be a significant wind chill on Thursday, and that white stuff you can see, yes, it is some snow on the hills. So we say goodbye to the milder yellows and ambers during Thursday, and hello to these colder blues before we see milder air coming in once again from the west. So in summary, there'll be rain at times this week. It's often going to be windy, but the salient change in that wind direction will be Wednesday into Thursday, when we lose the southwesterly and it becomes a northwesterly. And that means that the mild weather will move way to colder weather. But by Friday, it's going to be mild once again. Lou and Dan.
Thanks, Carol.